The Nebraska football team got back to work here on Monday as they prepare for the Indiana Hoosiers this week in Bloomington. Hi, Sean Callahan with HuskerOnline.com. Before we get to that, if you're looking to get tickets for this weekend's game at Indiana, or any game, or concert for that matter, check out Game Time. Download the Game Time app in the App Store and use the promo code ON3, and we're going to give you $20 off your ticket order. That's the Game Time app in your favorite app store. Use that promo code ON3. Okay, first and foremost, off the bye week, Coach Rule, what is the injury status of some key players like cornerback Tommy Hill and kicker Tristan Alvano?
Alvano kicked yesterday, still day to day. I'd expect Tommy to have a chance to play this week. He was all set to play last week and actually ruptured the plantar fascia as he was running onto the field. And after the tunnel walk, which is a good thing because when you rupture it, it's very painful. So it just comes, but it kind of alleviates the problem. So Tommy practiced all last week, so I'd assume Tommy has a chance to play. So other than that, I don't know if anyone's special, but I think we're pretty healthy.
As for this Indiana football team right now, on paper, there aren't many offenses in college football playing much better.
I mean, well, they're leading the Big Ten in passing, and at least they're close, if not the top in rushing. They're top 10 in the country in offense. They're top 10 in the country in defense. They're the only team that hasn't trailed all year. They've scored 80 points in the fourth quarter. So this is probably a top 10 football team we're facing, right? It's one of they started the season unranked, so they're not maybe getting the due that they're supposed to get, right? I mean, other people can lose to a bad team and they'll keep them in the top 10 because whatever they started in the top 10, but Coach Cignetti's done an amazing job. The quarterback's absolutely fantastic. They got playmakers. They're good on special teams. It's a great team.
The Huskers will go out to Bloomington as a slight underdog to the Hoosiers, who are 6-0 for the first time since 1967. It kind of gives the Huskers maybe a different feel going into this game as more of the hunter.
Yeah, I think coming out of that Illinois game, we learned a lot of very, very valuable lessons. I think we applied those versus Purdue and Rutgers in many ways. I thought we had the right attitude playing in those games. You're watching college football this week, and like every good game comes down to the last possession, like it's an NFL game. And so, hopefully the last 2 weeks have gotten us used to that. This is a game though where we're facing, this is probably I try not to look at the lines and all that, but I'm pretty sure we're probably the underdog, right? So this is our guys' first time for doing that, right? So I much prefer that. I love turning on game day and seeing them all pick the other team. That's good for us, So it's just kind of who I am and who a lot of our guys are. We're not, we are who we are. So. I think our guys, understand at this point, like this is going to come down to football. We got to practice well, play well. Doesn't matter what music we listen to before the game. Doesn't matter what we wear. Doesn't matter all of that's fun. We're going to have to block and tackle and again make one more play. I mean, you watch the end of Ohio State, Oregon. What a great football game with two great teams and with all the things they did all game. It just came down to like a couple things at the end, right? So, just trying to get ourselves a little bit better this week to make one more play.
However, when you look at the Big Ten Conference right now as a whole, across the board, anything can happen each and every week. As Coach Rule said, he spent a lot of time over the weekend zoning in on other Big Ten games.
Yeah, I think though, when you look at when they expanded the Big Ten to 18 teams and they brought in a team that played for the national championship last year, just think about that all of itself. Oregon, who. Dan's done a great job, but even before him, Mario did a great job. They've been a 2-loss team for the in that range for the last 5 years, and they've been a great team for a while. Then you bring in a team of that USC that won 11 games 2 years ago or whatever it was. You had to you put the travel in. I mean, I talked a lot about the travel, and everyone kind of oh, I got you, Matt. Like the travel, the weather, like that was hard to throw the ball last week against Rutgers. That was 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts, at least is what it said. It was hard. I think you're going to see a lot of unpredictability. It's like the NFL, right? You never know in the NFL who's a good year in college football moving forward is going to be like 8-4, 9-3. It's just what it is. It's why, there's a lot of teams that do really well, but they're not playing who we're playing. It's just a different league, right? And the Big Ten, the SEC they've just evolved, right? And then so You look at the statistics on traveling, multiple time zones, what that's doing to teams. I mean, I just think it's all really interesting. It's all about how healthy you are. There's not as many, take the game off games. You have to be ready to play every week, and people are battling. And again, now teams are losing on the last play of the game, right? I mean, Illinois has done a great job. Brett's done a great job. They won 2 games in overtime, right? I mean, it's just kind of what the Big Ten's going to be, I think, moving forward. It's going to be like the NFL.
And with Tommy Hill trending to return this week, that is one thing that could help Nebraska with their defensive play against the Hoosiers.
Well, I mean, I think you're going to need every corner you got versus this outfit. I mean, they got great wideouts, and they've got great run after catch guys. They can go get the fade. They can. I mean, really, this quarterback is playing as well as any quarterback in the Big Ten when you watch him, if not the best. I mean, he sees the field. He knows what you're in. He gets to the right spot. So we'll probably need all those guys. Tony has different packages, but just even in the rotation, right? I mean, they scored 80 points in the fourth quarter. That's just fantastic. I mean, 80 points in the fourth quarter alone. I think it's like 80-17. They haven't given up a first quarter point, I don't believe. So excellent defense with tremendous edge rushers and dynamic offense. So, we'll probably need Sierra a lot. We'll need Tommy if he can go. Again, Tommy's still, I feel good about it, but it's not a done deal. Like, he's got to get through the whole week of practice. And last couple of weeks, I've told you I thought he was going to go, and just, for a corner, that's a tough injury now. To be, it's one thing to be a D lineman and play, 3/4 speed. It's another thing to be a corner.
Rule did say here this week as well, 2 new black shirts were handed out to punter Brian Buschini and defensive back Sierra Wright. Put
Sierra in black because he's a starting corner right now, and the defensive guys came to me. They asked for Buschini to be in black, so we put Buschini in black. I mean, I think the way he's impacting the game defensively, right? I mean, I know I had talked to Jason Peter a couple of weeks ago and asked him how that worked, and he said, at the bowl game, those guys would always get it. And then I asked someone else, and I think they said Coach Riley, Coach Callahan did it once with a punter in the middle of the season. So I was kind of like, all right, well, I'll just stick with tradition. But I just think it's when the players, when Marquise Buford texted me at home, is like, Coach, we need Buschini in the black. I thought that was a tremendous message, whether it was the tackles at Purdue, or the game-saving tackles on the field goals, or just the punts he made last week. To get hit like that and come out there and not. Some guys get hurt and they come out and they finish the game. Like, he accelerated. So, but again, I did it because it was from the players. They feel like he's part of that unit. So let's roll.
And finally, special teams continues to be a point of emphasis as the Huskers worked on it here during the bye.
Coach Darlington was at practice. He had a folder for me. He was ready to rip me. I really take a lot of responsibility. I'm serious. Some of the coaches, I take a lot of responsibility for some of the things, special teams wise. Just early in the year, trying to get some young kids, and just not putting enough of the guys who I know can make plays on the special teams, and whereas Ed's one of those guys, So just kind of reevaluating that and seeing, hey, who can go out there and make plays for us, and getting some other players on the team. And then just kind of, seeing where we had never shown, we've never really been in this situation before. We've never had blocks in the past. And so here we are, and we've got 5 block kicks this year. That's like heartbreaking, And so, again, having a chance to go back and just study what we're doing, right? But to me, it's the same as in the run game. So my foot's cramping up, so forgive me. It's the same as the run game. Like, hey, what are we doing well? What are we not doing well that we should just get rid of or fix? And then, who are the guys who can make a play that we're not using? And just kind of really taking a deep dive at that. And, you hope that while we're in year 3 and year 4 and year 5, you have things established. In year 2, you're still sort of trying to figure out who can do what. I know that probably sounds hard for people to hear, but guys grow fast, they go quickly, they get better. So yeah, I would expect us to play way better on special teams moving forward. I'm excited for it. And had I thrown that fake punt on the first play, maybe that game would have been different, right? We knew it was there, so maybe it's a lesson for me to be a little bit more aggressive early on. But we'll need to steal a possession against Indiana. There's too dynamic on offense, and so how do you do that? Sometimes you run down and knock a ball out. Their punt returner is excellent. You go back and watch them at James Madison, they block a ton of kicks. So, they're going to come after us. We're going to need some guys to step up and play well.
Also on Monday, they announced Nebraska's game with Ohio State a week from Saturday will also be played at 11 a.m. on Fox. With the Nebraska football team in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.